Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. I think I should present my screen now. Uh, Rohan, can you stop sharing? Thanks. Okay. So I think it's visible to all now. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So my voice is audible and you can see my screen. Okay. Uh, just type yes if you all are able to hear me or can see my screen. It'd be good for me to know. Just drop yes in chat box. Okay. Great. So I think we should start now. Okay, so let's begin with a brief intro about me. So I am Rishabh. Yeah. Uh, yes, I am Rishabh. I have successfully completed Google Summer of Code 2020 with BRL Guide. Okay, and I am also the GitHub campus expert at NIT Surat. So I am also involved in many technical programs, talks, workshop, etc. And started contributing to open source and now enjoying it. So this workshop, this talk will be all about open source, how you can start your open source journey. Okay, so firstly, uh, this will be the flow of the talk. Firstly, we will discuss about what open source, what are open source softwares, and after that we will move on to the most popular open source program, Google Summer of Code. We will discuss its timeline, bugs, etc. And after that, it's October, so of course we will discuss a little bit about HacktoberFest. And after that, if time allows, we will discuss some other open source programs too. Okay. Right? Clear till now? What will be the flow? Just drop yes so that I know I'm not missing you all. I'm audible, that kind of issues. Yeah, okay. So let's move on quickly to what is open source. Okay. Uh, Many of you must have heard about this open source term. So, do you know any open source software which you use and is quite popular? Can you name any of them from any of you? Just drop in the chat box. I just want to see any open source software. Uh, GitHub. Uh, more. I'm waiting for more responses. Actually, GitHub is not completely open source. Uh, it's some of the part, like its documentation and some other projects of GitHub are open source. Okay. And any other project, open source project? Okay. So it's okay. Open source software are basically the category of the software which are totally free and their source code are available to everyone, to the public, under some licenses. Okay, some legal licenses, and you can contribute to these projects, redistribute them or modify them. Okay, so this is the category of the open source software. So like if I want to give example, Linux kernel, code Linux kernel is an open source. Okay, so you can check the source code of Linux kernel by going through this website, kernel.org. This is the main source code of the Linux. Many of you must be using Linux kernel for OS. Okay, so you can just see the entire code base of the Linux. Okay, and if you want to contribute to, you can go ahead. Okay, so like I mentioned, you can contribute. So similarly, different people. across the globe will be contributing to such open source software. So you can just imagine the power of open source software development. Like millions of code lines of code are being written by millions of developers across the world. Okay, so not just Linux, many powerful softwares like Git itself, not GitHub. Yeah, Git is open source. Okay, so you can contribute to Git if you want to, but it's really a big open source project. Okay, so this is open source. Uh, these are open source software which are quite popular, and like I mentioned, large number of people are contributing to such software. So uh, it is becoming a very popular open source software development. Like Microsoft is a tech giant. They make their products available, some of their products available to everyone, and made them open source. Earlier they were not in so favor of that open source softwares, but yeah, it is more powerful. People are understanding its power. So like you can see, even tech giants are bringing their development to the open source world. Okay, so this can this is just a meme I found on the internet. Like people also open source their project because they don't want to work alone on that. Okay, so like at this point we know what is open source software, and everyone want to start contributing to such software and to begin its journey. So generally you need some motivation, and we are university student. So like there are programs, very popular programs, which can give you a upthrust to start your open source journey. So one of such program is Google Summer of Code. It is quite popular. Many of you must have heard about it. Okay, so like we will discuss about Google Summer of Code uh, in few slides. So in Google Summer of Code, basically it's a program in which university students can contribute or work with open source software, and Google will pay you to work in this software, or you contribute in those software. So basically it's just that you are not working for Google, you are working for some open source software community, uh, working with them, but the whole program is managed by Google, and that makes it so prestigious and competitive. Like developers from all around the world apply for this. And this Google Summer of Code program, also known as GSoC in short, basically the whole procedure for this program can be divided into two steps. Okay, first is the organizations. First step is for organization. Second is for students. Okay, so like I mentioned, open source program, open source software. So these are managed by some communities. Okay, we call them organizations. So first process step is for organization. When Google announced its GSoC timeline, firstly, organizations apply with their projects, like they want to participate in Google Summer of Code. If Google thinks their open source projects are worth enough, they are selected. And once they are selected, they release their problem statements and open source project with which they want the students to work upon during the summers. So they release the problem statements. Then the next step is for students, and it's their time now. Students opt for their favorite problem statements or the project topics in which they are really interested. They make a detailed report how they will proceed throughout the summer if they get opportunity to work on that project, and make a detailed document. And this detailed document in terms of GSoC is called proposal. Okay, so students apply. If their proposal is worth enough, then organization select the student. Okay, so I think in these two steps, first step is handled by Google. Google select the organization, and second step is handled by organization itself. Students apply, and if the organization like their project, they are selected. So we just want to focus on the second step. So if we move on to the detailed timeline of the second step about the students application timeline. So this is roughly the timeline. Like in February, by the second week of February, organizations are announced by Google, and by the March, students apply, make their proposal and apply. Deadline is March. By May, the results are announced, and then you have to code throughout the summer. Or and if you want to see the detailed timeline of 2020, you can visit the Google Summer of Code website. The detailed timeline is available there. Okay, and this one more fact: in 2020, the GSoC timeline was shifted by 1 month. It was due to pandemic. Okay, so this is all about the procedure. ऊपर ऊपर से मैंने सारा ओवरव्यू दे दिया कि प्रोसीजर ये होने वाला है एंड स्टूडेंट्स हैव टू चूज द राइट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, चूज द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट इन ऑन विच दे वांट टू वर्क and make a proposal and apply. If they are selected, they work throughout the summer on that project. Okay, so after that, some motivation, of course, that's necessary if you're applying for such a competitive program. Okay, uh, and just check the chat. There are some open source. There are some answers like Docker, Android. Okay, right. As just saw that. Sorry to ignore at that time. I didn't see. Okay, we should proceed for why you should participate. Like you can see, there will be much more hacking in the summer. You will write many lines of code. That's code. You will begin your open source journey. That's are the those are the cool things about GSEC if we are participating in that. Apart from that, if we list down another reasons why you should participate, like first thing is that you get to choose, unlike engineering, like most of you will be pursuing engineering background, and like many will other be there, like doing other studies, but you don't have many choices what to pursue in Google Summer of Code. If you are applying, you go on their website. This is the website of Google Summer of Code official website, and visit GSoC 2020 program. You can see that these are the organizations which took part in Google Summer of Code 2020. Okay, so there are large number of organizations, and if you are interested in web development, you can just filter out these are web related organizations. If you are interested in other like let's say graphics, security, anything, okay, so you can participate in them. So the main point is there is a wide variety of available projects there, not only to the tech stack according to your interest too. Like let's say you are a physics student, okay, working in applied physics, etc. So there are organizations like CERN, etc. They are participating in that. You can find good projects in CERN. And let's say you are interested in operating system stuff, okay, you can go for Linux kernel, etc. So the most important part is there is a wide variety of choices to choose from. Okay, so this is the first reason I will give. And the second is the work is very flexible. If you get a GSoC, get into GSoC, like generally in jobs and internship, it is a 9 to 6, 10 to 6, whatever uh, time period for the job. But in GSoC, it's not like that. You just have to meet your targets, and maybe you can contribute 20, 30 hours average per week, but you can work on your according to your comfort. Like you can code in night. There is no fixed work time. And third thing, if you participate in Google Summer of Code, is that you get good international connections. Like myself, talking about myself, my two mentors, one was from USA and other was from Germany. So, like working with them throughout these 3 months in the coding period really created a great connection with them. So one of them is an engineer in Google, and another is a researcher at University of Pennsylvania. So like you can think this is a great opportunity if you are working with such people. Okay, so it will give you a great work from others, like working with them and taking guidance from them. And most importantly, like you are contributing to some open source software. They can be the software which were there 10 years back, so you can understand how much large the code base will be. Okay, so you are directly contributing to that, maybe 10,000 commits directly on their repository. Okay, so you are directly contributing to that. And another is opportunity of foreign trip. So this was not applicable for this year, of course, due to the pandemic situation. But I want to bring the point, like there are some organizations uh, which organize conferences after the Google Summer of Code program, and the students who were selected in this organization are invited to their conferences to speak about the work which they have completed in GSoC. So that can be a good opportunity to make connection and a foreign trip also. So these are the perks, and yeah, this is one is important, like you have you get to build up your resume, and if your org is famous, like if you have worked with a organization like gnome etc, or any other popular organization, you have bragging rights, like I have completed my GSOC internship with this organization. So like these are the main points which can motivate you to participate in the Google Summer of Code. And yeah, this point. This is a short conversation with one of my mentor. Like he mentioned that about the GSoC program. So he appreciate that the GSoC program is totally focused on university students, and the students get to work on hands-on on large project experience. So that's actually good. Okay, so any questions till now? Let's keep it interactive. I think I'm going fast. Any question? लाइक अभी इतना मैंने डिटेल में कुछ बताया नहीं है, बट स्टिल आई एम आस्किंग. ओके, सो नो क्वेश्चंस नाउ, लेट्स मूव ऑन. ओके, so I have I told you about the timeline and the process. So firstly, like if you want to go for GSoC, so you have to choose the right organization first and choose the project on which you want to work. Okay, so that's the trickiest part about the whole program, choosing the right organization. Generally it takes a month, like it took a month for me to decide on which organization I should work. Okay, so like for choosing the right organization, there are many factors. Okay, it depends on your personal interest. And as I mentioned, like GSoC has a wide variety of projects, so you can just visit their website and explore the organizations according to your interest. And one thing, like after organizations are selected, they release their problem statement for the season of, for the current season in which you are applying for. So just look over them, like what matches your interest etc, and choose the organizations accordingly. तो जनरली होता क्या है, लाइक इट्स नॉट लाइक कि मुझे इसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में करना है. जनरली पीपल मेक प्रिपेयर अ लिस्ट and shortlist 2 3 or more than that organization, and then choose one or two after that. So there's wide variety of organization, whether it's your interest ML, robotics, web dev etc, or it's your tech stack Java, C++, Python. There are projects for everything in Google Summer of Code. So according to that you can choose the organization. And there's one more important thing, like there are many videos available on YouTube about preparing for GSoC or cracking GSoC. Okay, so generally people say that they start early contributing. They start making contributions early. So the good month is considered as December. People start making contributions by December or choose the org by the January or December. Okay, so if you are starting from December, it's actually a good thing. You have 3 to 4 months. Even if you don't know the tech stack about your organization, you can learn in these 3 4 months, right? 3 4 months are quite enough to learn a new skill, etc. And even if you are late, if you know the tech stack in which you are applying, you can directly start contributing late. And even if you are applying late, like I started in Feb, and I was not that familiar with the code base, but still uh, I committed most of the time in making contribution. So अगर लेट शुरू कर रहे हो तो आपको ज़्यादा टाइम देना पड़ेगा, दैट्स इट, देयर इज अ ट्रेड ऑफ. और अगर पहले शुरू कर रहे हो सो थिंग्स कैन बी लिटिल इजी, और तुम नई नई चीज़ें सीख भी सकते हो और अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट सेलेक्ट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो जितना जल्दी शुरू कर देते हो उतना ही बेटर होगा. ओके, and this is one more important point, selecting org on basis of the popularity of organization. तो तुम जितना पॉपुलर org सिलेक्ट कर रहे हो तो वहाँ पे कंपटीशन उतना ही ज़्यादा होगा, एंड सिलेक्शन इज डिफिकल्ट. बाकी जीसोप में होना, सिलेक्ट होना इज वेरी इजी. not very easy, yeah, it's easy, you can make it. Okay, abhi I mentioned, sorry, there's little echo. Okay, I mentioned that people start by December, and earlier I mentioned about a timeline that orgs are selected by the second week of February. तो अगर तुम किसी org में कंट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हो और ऐसा होता है कि फेब्रवरी में org सेलेक्ट नहीं हुआ, सो लाइक यू कैन थिंक कितना बुरा होगा, तुमने 2 मंथ्स किसी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को दिया और वो सिलेक्ट नहीं हुआ. तो जनरली हमें, दिस इज अ ट्रेड ऑफ, कंप्लीटली ट्रेड ऑफ, यू हैव टू चूज वन थिंग. हम पॉपुलर और को चूज करेंगे, कंपटीशन ज़्यादा होगा, बट देर इज मोर प्रोबेबिलिटी कि वो और फेब्रवरी में चूज होगा, सो यू कैन स्टार्ट अर्ली. ओके, सो दिस इज द ट्रेड ऑफ. इसमें आपको अच्छे से सोचना होता है कि क्या चूज करना है, एंड ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट ट्रेड ऑफ यू कैन चूज द राइट ऑर्ग. ओके, सो popularity वगैरह के according, this is a tool, open source tool, which I found somewhere on the LinkedIn. Someone made this. It's an Indian dude. Okay, so while analyzing the org, you can use this tool. Like if I search by organization name, okay, so I participated in this organization. So it clearly mentioned number of times in GSoC 10. ओके, तो समझ सकते हो ये 10 ईयर्स से सिलेक्ट होता आ रहा है, तो फिर ज़्यादा प्रोबेबिलिटी है इस ईयर भी सिलेक्ट होगा. एंड देयर आर मैनी ऑप्स लाइक जो भी रिसेंटली ऐड हुए हैं गूगल समर ऑफ कोड में, यहाँ भी अप्लाई करने लगे. सो यू कैन काउंट ऑन देम टू, बट इट्स गुड इफ यू आर अप्लाइंग फॉर सर्च ऑप्स. ओके, और दूसरा इंटरेस्ट के अकॉर्डिंग मैच होना चाहिए. लाइक आई रियली वांटेड टू वर्क ऑन सम सी प्लस प्लस स्टफ फॉर सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट, सो आई चूज दैट. एंड ऑल्सो check that is it selected every year or other questions like that. Yeah, so I was satisfied by this, so I choose that off. So similarly ये तुम्हें डिसीजन लेना है और काफ़ी अच्छे से चूज करना पड़ता है that which org did you तुम किस org को चूज करना चाह रहे हो. Okay, so you have to make a complete list about that and do a detailed study on that. After that, start making contributions. Okay. So first step is choosing the org, start making contribution, and second कंट्रीब्यूशन शुरू कर दिया है, ठीक है, लेकिन एक कॉन्टैक्ट भी बनाना होता है ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साइड. ओके, सो फॉर मेकिंग कॉन्टैक्ट विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, what you have to do, for contact you have to set up their projects. Okay, firstly, before making contribution you have to set up their projects and look around their source code. Okay, like वो कर क्या रहा है सॉफ्टवेयर, तुम्हें ये पता होना चाहिए. ठीक, तो ये सब जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है उनकी वेबसाइट पे अवेलेबल होता है. अभी ओपन सोर्स सॉफ्टवेयर है तो लाइक दे कैन बी होस्टेड ऑन गिटहब. ठीक है, गिटहब इज जस्ट वन प्लेटफॉर्म फॉर वेयर ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट्स आर होस्टेड, बट जरूरी नहीं सारे ओपन सोर्स सॉफ्टवेयर गिटहब पे ही मिलेंगे. ओके, लाइक आई शोड this Linux kernel. ठीक है, it's not directly hosted on GitHub. They don't maintain their this Linux kernel on GitHub, but there is a copy of that on GitHub. But that's not the original source code. We say that mirror. Okay, so the main work is done here. And similarly there are other platforms like GitHub, GitLab, etc. So different org choose different platforms for their open source software, so it's totally depending upon them. You have to check their website where their code is hosted, so you have to explore their codes, and then this top bug trackers. Like if you are if the org is using GitHub, okay, so you must have seen this issues tab in the repository. Okay, so these are issues, or we can say bugs, etc. In this open source project. Similarly, it is not necessary that सारे organization अपने projects के लिए GitHub use करें. So there are specific tools for tracking bugs and about projects. These are called bug tracker, Jira, etc. So ये सारा information organization की website पे मिल जाता है. तो मैं सबसे पहले contribution शुरू करने से पहले first step is setting up the project, checking their bug trackers, is there any new issue, and अगर कुछ ऐसा है जहाँ से मैं शुरू कर सकता हूँ कोई इशू कैच करके और लगता है कि इशू मैं सॉल्व कर सकता हूँ, तो वो सब आपको इन्फॉर्मेशन बग ट्रैकर्स पे मिलेगा. ठीक, गिटहब के केस पे दिस इज issue is there, so you have to go through all the issues for open source software and see like what you can do. Okay, so one thing like और कम्युनिकेशन कम्युनिकेशन मतलब मेंटर्स है या कम्युनिटी उनसे बात तो करनी पड़ेगी. ओके, सो बात करने के लिए वो कुछ पर्टिकुलर चैनल्स का यूज करते हैं ओपन सोर्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस लाइक मेलिंग लिस्ट. इट्स लाइक अ ग्रुप फॉर मेल्स. ओके, इफ यू send a mail to a mailing list, then all the members who have joined that mailing list receive that mail. ओके, और या फिर उस मेलिंग लिस्ट पे कोई दूसरा मेंटेनर मेल भेज रहा है और तुम उसके मेंबर हो तो तुम भी वो मेल रिसीव करोगे. So you have to join mailing list of different organizations, and there is IRC channel mostly related with open source software. IRC channel एक just like group chat समझ लो, जो एक particular protocols internet relay chat को follow करती हैं. Like you have to join the connection and all the messages are deleted if you uh, lost the connection, etc. And there are forums. So if you want to introduce yourself or discuss something with the community, so you have to join mailing list and IRC, etc. And one more thing, like if you're thinking to start making a open source contribution, you have to be active in IRC channel, etc. If you are making some small contributions, like अभी एक्टोर फेस्ट के लिए ही करना हो, ठीक है, तो या तो वो इश्यूज पे ही तुम डिस्कस कर सकते हो गिटहब के, या फिर कम्युनिटी से डिस्कस करना पड़ेगा इफ यू वांट टू ब्रिंग सम चेंज, अगर वो ऑलरेडी लिस्टेड नहीं है. तो आपको ये ग्रुप चैट्स आईआरसी चैनल्स वगैरह यूज करने पड़ते हैं लोगों से बात करने के लिए. ठीक है, तो ये सब लिंक सब इंफॉर्मेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के वेबसाइट पे होता है. सो जो भी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चूज करो यू हैव टू गो थ्रू इट्स वेबसाइट. एंड बग ट्रैकर्स, उसका मेलिंग लिस्ट क्या है, आईआरसी, ये सारा इंफॉर्मेशन आपको मिल जाएगा एंड यू कैन कनेक्ट विद द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. एंड यू नो द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, यू आर कनेक्टेड विद देम, तो आप कंट्रीब्यूट करना शुरू कर सकते हो. तो कंट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए पहले तुम्हें कुछ वर्क ढूंढना पड़ेगा तुम्हारे लायक. ठीक, तो मैंने बताया इश्यूज अवेलेबल होते हैं बग ट्रैकर्स में या फिर ये गिटहब पे होस्टेड है, तो गिटहब पे ही इश्यूज में. ओके, सो सबसे पहले अगर आप बिगिनर हो तो यू हैव टू फाइंड इजी बग्स. ओके, इजी इश्यूज तो जनरली टर्म्स होती है, ये भी हर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन अलग अलग यूज करती है, लाइक लो हैंगिंग बग्स, बिगिनर बग्स, you have to find such bugs. Okay, और अगर लग रहा है इनमें से कोई सॉल्व कर सकते हो, then you have already set up the project, you can go ahead for solving such issues. और या फिर अभी शुरू करना है ओपन सोर्स, तो क्या कर सकते हो तुम, आईआरसी ज्वाइन करो, उनका ग्रुप चैट, और इंट्रोड्यूस करो अपने आप को, बताओ कि मैं बिगिनर हूँ, मैं चाह रहा हूँ कोई मुझे छोटी प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने के लिए दो या हेल्प करो. सो दे मेंटेनर्स आर गुड like in most cases, so they help you making your first open source contribution. ठीक, तो लाइक मैं अपना पहला कंट्रीब्यूशन शो करना चाहता हूँ. जस्ट वांट शो यू माय फर्स्ट ओपन सोर्स कंट्रीब्यूशन. Okay, so this was an issue in some project OpenSCAT. I worked on that actually. So like I directly asked, commented on first of Feb that to the maintainer that I want to work on this issue. Can you guide me from where should I begin? Like मुझे कुछ आइडिया नहीं था इस कोड बेस में, इतना बड़ा है कोड बेस. Like I can show you, it's already around 9,000 commits and it's a 10-year-old software. तो मुझे नहीं पता था कहाँ पे ये सॉल्व होगा इशू, कोई बग है तो. सो आई आस्क्ड एंड समवन फ्रॉम कम्युनिटी रिप्लाइड लाइक इस वाले चेंज के बाद ये बग इंट्रोड्यूस हुआ है, सो यू कैन लुक इनटू दिस चेंज. लाइक अब मेरा जो सर्च स्पेस था कि प्रॉब्लम कितने कोड बेस में, वो रिड्यूस हो गया था, मुझे पता चल गया था इस चेंज के बाद ये इशू आया है. तो लाइक यू हैव टू टॉक विद द कम्युनिटी इफ यू वांट टू मेक ओपन सोर्स कंट्रीब्यूशन. तो लाइक ये छोटा चेंज था काफी, बट अगर मैं बात नहीं करता या फिर मैं शाय होता, नहीं पूछता, तो मैं शुरू नहीं कर पाता. यू हैव टू स्टार्ट. ओके, सो दैट वाज माय मेन पॉइंट फॉर शोइंग दैट. एंड लाइक आई हैव सीन लाइक इन माय कम्युनिटी इन अदर प्रोजेक्ट, काफी लोग आते हैं वो डायरेक्ट आईआरसी पे बोलते हैं आई एम न्यू, आई वांट टू स्टार्ट ओपन सोर्स, सो कोई इश्यूज असाइन वगैरह कर दो, ऐसा कुछ. सो यू कैन कम्युनिकेट दैट टू. एंड अगर कोई नया इश्यू क्रिएट कर रहे हो जस्ट सॉल्व करने के लिए, सो कीप दैट इन माइंड, जो कोड लिख रहे हो मतलब यूजलेस नहीं होना चाहिए, क्योंकि वो इतनी मेहनत से इतना बड़ा ओपन सोर्स सॉफ्टवेयर मेंटेन कर रहे हैं. तो जस्ट टू मेक योर ओपन सोर्स कंट्रीब्यूशन काउंट, डोंट राइट एनीथिंग. ओके, इट शुड गो विद द कोड बेस. ओके, सो दैट वाज सम लाइक काफी पॉइंट्स टू बी डिफरेंट मैंने बताया, स्टार्टिंग अर्ली एंड इवन इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग लेट, तो कंट्रीब्यूशन ज़्यादा करो, और टाइप ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वो आप पे डिपेंड करेगा कि कितना अच्छा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन चूज कर रहे हो, ज़्यादा सिलेक्शन होगा. सो ऑल दिस थिंग मेक यू डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द क्राउड, लाइक जो और लोग अप्लाई कर रहे हैं GSoC के लिए. ओके, my first contribution I have already shown you. So these are some stats related to the GSoC 2020. Like this year, 1198 students were accepted, and the acceptance rate was 1 by 8. So like you can think it's tough, but it's totally worth enough. I have already shown you why, uh, what perks does GSoC provide, like international connection, you have directly work on such large code base. तो काफ़ी अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस होता है. तो एंड लाइक 10,000 अप्रोक्स ने अप्लाई करा था, इतने सेलेक्ट हुए. बट इफ़ यू choose the right org, choose the project according you to your interest, and make a good proposal, there are chances that everyone gets selected. Like I have seen people applying from different backgrounds, like even applying from bachelor sciences to uh, astrophysics, physics students. Like the branch, your studies doesn't matter in GSoC. You must be a university student, and nothing more than that. College, etc. Nothing matters for Google Summer of Code. What matter is like तुमने contribution क्या करा है, और जो तुम प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट सॉल्व करने जा रहे हो उसका जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन तुमने तैयार करा है, द सो कॉल्ड प्रपोजल, वो कितना अच्छा तुमने लिखा है. ओके, सो दैट मैटर्स. Okay, so this was all about GSoC, and the more you can explore on their website. Okay, summerofcode.with google.com. You can see the different projects there. Okay, so is there any question related to GSoC? Okay, so I can see few questions. What was your work schedule during GSoC? What part did you work on? Okay. Okay, for the pre-GSoC period, like I mentioned, I started late. It was already February, so there were university was going on, so mostly I contributed in night. Okay, so I contributed like I was able to make contribution for around 5 hours a day still after university classes, etc. So you have to work hard, make contribution, some solid contributions, and prepare a good proposal. Okay, and after that, if you want to know about my uh, uh, experience in the GSoC period, so like it was not that hectic. It was a commitment around 30 hours मुझे work करना है मेरे goals को reach करने के लिए, and that's it. I can work according to my comfort. Okay, and about what part did you work on? So I work on a CAD software, the computer aided design software. You must have heard about some CAD softwares like AutoCAD, etc. So there is one open source version for that. OpenSCAD is its name. So I directly contributed in that. So that software is written in C++. Okay. So second question is from Rohan. Being a native programmer, what I will be looking in an open source software code? How shall I be able to understand the code of open source software? It seems pretty high level. So exactly, like जब आप open source किसी भी सॉफ्टवेयर का कोड बेस एक्सप्लोर कर रहे हैं, तो वहाँ पे ऑलरेडी हंड्रेड्स मोर देन दैट फाइल्स होंगी. तो वह समझ में भी नहीं आ रहा होगा इतना सारा क्यों है, या फिर अगर कुछ समझने का शुरू भी कर रहे हैं तो कहाँ से शुरू करना है, राइट? सो लाइक अच्छा तरीका यही है, जैसे मैंने दो टेक्निक्स बताई. यू कैन इंट्रोड्यूस योरसेल्फ इन द कम्युनिटी एंड गेट यू असाइंड सम इजी टास्क, एंड इवन द मेंटर्स विल हेल्प यू. ओके, और जो ये ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट को मेंटेन करते हैं उन्हें मेंटेनर्स बोलते हैं. दे विल हेल्प यू आउट. और वरना generally there are some issues which are listed for beginner, like I can show you some repository. So these are the labels. Okay, there will be label for low hanging. Okay, so these are the issues or the bugs, like इनका difficulty level इतना हाई नहीं होता है. So you can choose, और अगर फिर भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो तुम इस पे कमेंट कर सकते हो, like I want to work in this issue, on this issue. तो someone will guide you if you ask them politely. Okay, तो समझ में आ जाता है. और लाइक तुम्हारा सर्च स्कोप जो है, क्या नाम है, तुम्हें किस फाइल में ये चेंजेस करने हैं ये इशू ठीक करने के लिए, ये तुम्हें धीरे धीरे ही समझ में आता है। लाइक तुम पूरा सोर्स कोड एक बार में नहीं समझ सकते। यू आर वर्किंग ऑन वन पार्ट, इसमें कंट्रीब्यूशन करा तुमने, चेंज करा, इट्स ओके, इतना समझ में आया। और लाइक जब 2-3 मंथ्स प्रियर टू जीसोक तुम वर्क कर लोगे तो तुम्हें एटलीस्ट हाफ ऑफ द कोड बेस यू हैव ऑलरेडी एक्सप्लोर्ड, तो ज्यादा समझ में आने लगता है। तो एक साथ नहीं आता है, इट टेक्स टाइम। लाइक अब कोई छोटा सा चेंज करना है तो एक पर्टिकुलर पोर्शन में करोगे, तो उस टाइम हमें केवल उसके बारे में सोचना होता है। ओके, तो वो तुम्हें पूरे कोड पे फोकस नहीं करना, पूरे कोड पे फोकस करोगे, यस यू विल बी स्केयर्ड। ओके, एंड बीइंग ए नेव प्रोग्राम, लाइक वो ऐसा कोई टर्म है नहीं नेव प्रोग्रामर एक्सेट्रा। ठीक, अगर मुझे कोई टैग स्टैक नहीं आता तो मैं उस टैग स्टैक के लिए नेव प्रोग्रामर हूँ। ठीक, तो लाइक मैं अपने बारे में बताना चाहूंगा। लाइक आई चूज दिस सी प्लस प्लस सॉफ्टवेयर प्रोजेक्ट, लेकिन मैंने इससे पहले सी प्लस प्लस का किसी सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट में यूज़ नहीं करा था। आई वॉज इन टू वेब डेवलपमेंट एंड अदर ब्लॉकचेन स्टफ एक्सेट्रा। तो बस मुझे सीखना था, ओप्स स्ट्रॉन्ग करना था। तो फिर मैंने फेबररी में ही ये शुरू करा। और सिमिलरली जो भी सोच रहे हो तुम रोहन, तो लाइक मेरा भी सेम था ओपिनियन। लाइक मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा था सोर्स कोड, बट या इट टेक्स टाइम एंड it was getting comfortable after some time. Okay, Ayush Tyagi. If we know 2 out of the 5 text required, still there will be chance of contributing or getting selected. Uh, 2 out of the 5 text required. Actually, I'm not getting the questions. Not getting this question correctly. Like, what do you want to say? लाइक टेक स्टैक में मोस्टली है तो प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज के बारे में तुम बोलना चाह रहे हो। हाँ, और अगर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन मान लो जैसे मशीन लर्निंग का है एंड यू आर डायरेक्टली वांट टू कंट्रीब्यूट इन सम सॉफ्टवेयर जो कि पूरा एमएल का ही है, तो यू हैव टू नो दैट टेक स्टैक। और नो तुम पहले भी कर सकते हो, या फिर अप्लाई करने से पहले, जैसा मैंने बताया, फ्रॉम दिसंबर टू मार्च यू कैन लर्न वाइल मेकिंग कंट्रीब्यूशन। ओके, छोटे छोटे चेंजेस करोगे पता चलते आएगा, ऐसा है। तो मेरे केस में यही हुआ, मुझे नहीं आता था सी प्लस प्लस में ये सॉफ्टवेयर डेवलपमेंट ऊप्स पूरा कैसे लिखते हैं किसी सॉफ्टवेयर के लिए। तो छोटे छोटे कंट्रीब्यूशन करते गए एंड आई केप्ट लर्निंग। आई होप दिस आंसर योर क्वेश्चन। What are the key points for making a good proposal for our organization? Okay, so this is quite popular question. Like अच्छा proposal चाहिए select होने के लिए। तो अच्छा प्रपोजल जब भी बनेगा जब तुम्हें पता हो प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट में तुम्हें एक्चुअली क्या करना है और कैसे प्रोसीड करना है। तुम खुद से भी सोच सकते हो, बट फॉर एडवाइस और फॉर टिप द की पॉइंट इज, जो मेंटेनर्स हैं या मेंटर्स हैं जो कि प्रोजेक्ट को मेंटेन कर रहे हैं उन्हें तुमसे ज़्यादा पता होता है। सो कीप डिस्कसिंग विद देम वेल मेकिंग प्रपोजल। ठीक, और दूसरा की पॉइंट ऐसा है कि मैंने बताया ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस रिलीज करते हैं अपने प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट आफ्टर गेटिंग सिलेक्टेड। ओके, बट इस दिस इज नॉट नेसेसरी कि तुम उसी में से चूज करो। मैं जब इस ओपन सोर्स सॉफ्टवेयर पे काम कर रहा था तो आई वॉज क्वाइट एक्टिव इन देयर आईआरसी चैनल। ओके, सो काफी लोग आते हैं यूजर्स वगैरह, वो न्यू फीचर सजेस्ट करते हैं। ओके, सो आई वाज जस्ट नोटिंग डाउन देम एंड इन मार्च लाइक आई वाज डिस्कसिंग विद द मेंटेनर कि ये फीचर होता तो काफी हेल्पफुल होगा यूजर्स के लिए, वो ऐसा कर सकते हैं, ऐसा कर सकते हैं। सो आई सजेस्टेड द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट ऑन माई ओन, और मुझे काफी पता था वर्क करते करते, और काफी मेंटर ने हेल्प करा। उन्होंने बताया कि ऐसा बेटर रहेगा अगर इसको इस अप्रोच से सॉल्व करेंगे। तो लाइक while making द प्रपोजल, इट इज गुड लाइक तुम्हें सारे टेक्निकल डिटेल्स के बारे में पता हो, तुम कैसे प्रोसीड करने वाले हो। ठीक, अगर फीचर सजेस्ट कर रहे हो नया तो तुम्हें पता होना चाहिए हाँ इट विल बी हेल्पफुल टू द कम्युनिटी, सो इट्स बेटर टू डिस्कस विद देम। ठीक, और अगर पहले से प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट है इट मीन्स दैट दे वांटेड। ओके, उनसे डिस्कस नहीं करना कि ये सच में चाहिए या नहीं चाहिए, बट टेक्निकल डिटेल्स कैसे प्रोसीड करना है जस्ट डिस्कस विद द मेंटर्स। ठीक है, जितना ज्यादा टेक्निकल डिटेल होगा तुम्हें पता होगा, क्लियर होगा कि इस प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट में कैसे प्रोसीड करना है ड्यूरिंग द समर्स, तो उतने ही तुम्हारे हायर चांसेस होंगे सिलेक्ट होने के। Oh, this answers your question. Any more question related to GSoC? You can unmute and ask if you really want to ask. Okay, so one thing like I really want to show, these are some of the reason which I've seen people make if they don't want to try Google Summer of Code. Like I was unaware of this program. Okay, so now you are all aware. It's already Feb. It's too late to participate. I've shown you that I started in February, and third is attending university classes. Leave me with no time. So that's a fake excuse, I would say. You have to solve that issue on your own. If your university classes are going on, so you have to manage time. Okay, if you really want. Yes. And मेरा opinion यही है, like this GSoC program is actually quite good for university student. इतने बड़े project पे काम करने को मिल रहा है, and this is really a great push to start your open source journey. Like starting में हम सब explore ही कर रहे होते हैं अपने bachelors में, तो इतनी choices हमारी भी narrow down नहीं होती कि हमें करना क्या है. So these programs give you a path. Okay, that was all about the GSoC program. Still any question? No? Okay, so let's just move on. एक push Google Summer of Code similar if you want to start to the open source, and the second is HacktoberFest. Okay, like अभी काफी सुनने में आ रहा होगा और सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स पे भी काफी इवेंट्स वगैरह चल रहे होंगे HacktoberFest related. So what is that? Okay, basically HacktoberFest is just like a challenge, a month-long challenge. Okay, it is a celebration for participating in open source. So what you have to do to complete this challenge? Okay, you have to, let's visit their website and just see there. Okay, so just visit their website if later you want to. So these are the event details. So according to that, you just have to complete 4 pull requests. Okay, a pull request, many of you are already available or already aware about the GitHub. Okay, pull request are nothing but the changes request. Okay, और ओपन सोर्स के टर्म में से पैचेस भी बोलते हैं, ठीक. बट ऑन गेटअप दिस अ पुल रिक्वेस्ट. यू हैव टू मेक 4 पुल रिक्वेस्ट uh, from 1st of October to 31st October. If you complete these 4 pull requests and they are approved or merged in the open source software, then you have completed this challenge and you get the perks related with the challenge. Okay. And one more thing, like from this year onwards, there are some strict rules in this Hacktoberfest. Like hota kya tha, in the last past 2 years, I have observed like जो भी ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उन पे स्पैम पुल रिक्वेस्ट जाती थी. लोग छोटे छोटे चेंजेस करते थे एंड डॉक्यूमेंटेशन और द चेंजेस which aren't even required, they suggest these changes and send pull requests. So there is a lot of spamming going on. So from right now, you can make contribution only to those repository which have Hacktoberfest tag in their about. So like अभी Hacktoberfest challenge को आप complete करने का सोच रहे हो, so like you can find some repositories on their website, official website. You can choose the language in which you want to contribute. So I choose C++. So 3 projects are there and more I can see by clicking this browse more on GitHub. Like if I choose this project, so you can see there is a Hacktoberfest tag. Is it visible? Okay, you can see this is an HacktoberFest tag in this repository. It means this is valid for HacktoberFest. And if I make contributions in this repository, they will accept my HacktoberFest contributions. Okay, they will except what I want to say is like there are 2 rules stated there. First, there should be a Hacktoberfest topic in the about section, and second, if you are making an pull request, it should be marked as Hacktoberfest accepted. If this pull request is marked Hacktoberfest accepted, then it is a valid pull request for completing this challenge. Okay, so let me show you one of the PR which I received in a project which I was maintaining. Wait a minute, things will be more clear to you. I have to open. Sorry, wait a minute. I'll be quick. Okay. So this is some website of community handled by us. So these are the pull request. Someone sent a pull request here. Okay, so this was the communication that she changed some styling changes, improved the color and other things. After the approval by the maintainer, I have added the Hacktoberfest accepted. So now this pull request, which has already been merged and also approved, it need to be approved. Then also it's valid. Will be, and after adding this tag, this is now a valid PR for Hacktoberfest. Okay, so you have to keep two things in mind. You have to browse for repository which have issue this Hacktoberfest tag in their about section. Just choose them and start contributing. If you make pull request, just make sure the maintainer mark this as Hacktoberfest accepted. And if your such 4 PRs are completed, this challenge is completed. और इस पूरे प्रोग्राम का मोटिव यही है कि गूगल समर ऑफ कोड में लाइक यू कैन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं लेकिन काफी कन्फाइंड है प्रोजेक्ट्स. इस हेक्टोबरफेस्ट में देयर आर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ रिपोजिटरी ऑन गिटहब. ठीक है, तो उसमें काफी सारी ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट्स होंगे जो हेक्टोबरफेस्ट में पार्ट ले रहे हैं. सो यू कैन फाइंड इवन सम स्मॉल प्रोजेक्ट्स टू. तो फॉर बिगिनिंग योर ओपन सोर्स कंट्रीब्यूशन हेक्टोबरफेस्ट कैन बी द राइट वे. ओके, अभी बहुत टाइम है, लाइक इट्स जस्ट 10 अक्टूबर. यू हैव टू कंप्लीट ओनली 4 पुल रिक्वेस्ट बाय 31st October. So you can go ahead look some projects in which you can contribute. There will be some small projects too. Okay, like you can see this is a project and it has only 45 commits. You can make contribution to them. And like I can show some other project. Some of you uh, okay, so it's an Heroku app, an online resume generator. Okay, so this is a project. It's a quite new, only 80 commits. Okay, and you can check the issues if you want to start contributing. So you can see issues. They have Hacktoberfest accepted, convert HTML resume to template type. So you can just open the issue, and if you want to work, you can just talk with the maintainer and start making contribution. Start working on that issue and make a PR. Okay, so this is the procedure for Hacktoberfest. You just have to find a repository or the open source project in which you can contribute and make contribution, and make sure this that open source project is actually available for making your contribution count for Hacktoberfest. तो उसके लिए about section में जाके check कर लेना. And while making contribution, make sure your PR is marked as Hacktoberfest accepted. So that's the main thing. And there are wide variety of projects on GitHub. So काफी अच्छा variety of है इसमें भी choose करने के लिए and starting your open source contribution. ठीक, so just explore the website, explore the project. You can even check browse more on GitHub. Again, there will be hundreds of repository coming. Okay, so you can just contribute. And like last year में ऐसा होता था कि लोग data structures के code भी contribute कर रहे हैं, just making large code bases. That's not the thing. So this was against the open source culture. So इस year थोड़ा stricter guidelines Hacktoberfest के लिए. So you can just go ahead. Okay. Any question about Hacktoberfest? Like contribution कैसे करना है ये मैंने नहीं दिखाया. So it's again due to time limitation. But मैंने बताया कि rules ये होंगे and you can find code issues, the easy one according to your interest and make a PR. Any question? Okay. ठीक, like ये दो चीज Hacktoberfest and GSoC, like these are good motivation to start your open source journey. Like there are also some other programs apart from this. I can show you. It will only take a while. So this is one of the program MLH Fellowship. So this started from 2020 itself. Okay, so it's a new program, but it is getting quite popular and receiving a large number of applications. So what happened? Like many people lost their internship this summer due to the pandemic situation. So MLH, powered by GitHub, started this open source this open source program, the MLH fellowship, in which again you work for 12 week. It's an internship on open source softwares. Okay, so the procedure is quite different from Google Summer of Code in this. When you are applying, you have to fill a application form. Then you have in that application form you have to submit one of your best code. Okay, the and explain the code, like you have wrote this code and this code does that task. Okay, you have to explain in detail. And if the selection committee like your code, and then invite you for an interview, and again the interview will be entirely revolving around that piece of code only. And if they find you worthy enough, so they will select you. So uh, this year they selected a large number of students, and also I heard that 10,000 applications were received for MLH fellowship. So it's a good program now and getting quite popular. And one more thing, like GSoC is only for summers, but MLH fellowship is available for these 4 times on the year. Like it's for spring, for summer, and also for fall. So you have many chances to apply. Okay, so of course, their working hours will be different for summer and fall. Like the university is going on in the fall, so it will be managed. You have to work less hours if you are applying for falls, maybe 20 hours a week. But if you are working in summer, maybe 30 hours a week. So that's the difference. Okay. Another thing is community bridge. So this is a platform for open source project. It is maintained by Linux Foundation. Okay, so you can explore this. There are many mentorships available. Okay, so each mentorship has different procedure to apply, and it is community based is what to say, a platform. Okay, and it has many open source mentorship program available. Like there is, you can see right now there is one for Linux kernel, other for Kubernetes. Similarly अभी कम है, समर के टाइम काफी mentorship program आ जाता है. Like I remember related to cloud, and there is one related to blockchain too. So you can also prepare for that, apply for that. Like लोगों को पता नहीं होता, अवेयर नहीं होते इन सब प्रोग्राम के बारे में, लेकिन there are large number of programs available for university student. So just try to explore these program, फिर जिसमें राइट लगे उसमें अप्लाई कर सकते हो. So that's the main point. Okay. uh, Checking the questions. How to make pull request for HacktoberFest? Can you give an idea? Okay. One more thing, like how many of you are aware about GitHub? Uh, like मीडियम लेवल भी चलेगा, जिस तुम्हें पता है कि गिटहब पे क्या होता है, या फिर थोड़ा बहुत भी काम करा है अपने प्रोजेक्ट्स को. कैन यू ड्रॉप यस, लाइक मुझे पता चल जाए कि कितने लोगों को एटलीस्ट पता है गिटहब क्या होता है. ओके, वेरी लेस नंबर, expecting more. Okay, expecting more. Okay, so this was okay. This was not the part of the talk, like it's related to using GitHub. Still I would try uh, making some. uh, for Hacktoberfest you must have knowledge of Git and GitHub for completing that. Okay, so when you are working for an open source project, what you do is you make a separate branch and introduce your changes, and then send a request to the open source software that try to include my these suggested changes in your main branch. Okay, so this request is called pull request. Okay, तो ये गिट के टर्म्स में मैं बात करूँगा. This is an example repository of an open source project. You can see this. Okay, so this is the master branch which I am showing. Like let's say I am working on some issue. Okay, I select one of the issue. Let's say this. Start working on it. So what will I do? I must have already cloned the repository and have made a different branch for working on my issue or the feature on which I am working. Okay, and one more thing, like you have to fork the repository first for making PR. That's a community guideline. Okay, so you have to fork, then clone, and after making branch, you can work on the issue, and then you push that branch. And when you push that branch, then on GitHub interface, you will see a button to make a pull request. Like you have made some changes from the original open source software. Do you want to request the maintainer to include these changes in the original software? So that request is just a pull request. Okay. So like अभी थोड़ा समझ में आया या फिर I don't know about time. Like I can show. अभी समझ में आया क्या इतने में? Have you seen any pull request ever? Okay. Still, like I can do one thing. It's good. Uh, or okay. So it's yes, sir. So it's cool. I won't. I'm not going to show you how to make a PR, but I can show an already existing PR. What is it like? Okay. So like I showed this PR. Okay. So what is actually happening is post some tabs first. One of my PR, that would be better if I show my work. Okay. This is a pull request made by me in a software OpenSCAD. So what I did is I forked the repository OpenSCAD and made a branch in my system and named it shortcut GUI. I completed the task which was around this pull request and then pushed it into my repo. And when I pushed, there was a option to make a pull request. And when I clicked that, this is the pull request which would appear in the original open source software. Like all the people can see this is a pull request, even the maintainer can see, and maintainer can see that in this pull request I have made this much commits. These are the commits. These are the changes I have made, and these are the files I have changed. Okay, so these are the line. The green one are the additions, and the red ones are the deleted lines. These are the lines which I have included in this PR. And after that, after reviewing all this file, like ये सब changes मैंने सही करे हैं, अगर maintainer को ऐसा लगता है, he can merge this pull request into the main branch of the project, that is master. Okay, so this is a pull request. This is just a request to include my changes to into the original branch. Okay, of the software which is hosted on GitHub. Okay, I hope this is much clear now. So okay, any more question or?
No, sir. Thank you. I think all the questions are done.
Hmm.
Thank you for the session. So it was really knowledgeable and we enjoyed it a lot. Thank you
Yeah,
for your time, sir. Thank you.
yeah. Okay. Thanks. It was a great experience. Thanks for inviting.
I would request all the audience to please fill back the feedback form and pasting it in the chat box. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks. So, can I leave?
So one more thing, actually there's a
Okay.
tradition every
Hmm.
session. We request everyone to turn on their videos so we can take a screenshot to keep
Yeah.
this memory.
Totally.
Yeah. I request everyone to kindly turn on their videos. Really informative, and you cleared all our doubts, and I hope everyone else also understand very well. and they'll make some good contribution this year.
Yeah, HacktoberFest is a good opportunity. Like mostly people do it for t-shirt. Like if it's your motive, that's okay. Like different people I have different motivation. Like start करना जरूरी होता है. एंड अभी तो स्ट्रिक्ट गाइडलाइंस और रूल्स हैं, तो तुम अच्छे ही कंट्रीब्यूट करोगे जब भी वो वैलिड पीयर्स होंगी. सो जस्ट स्टार्ट कंट्रीब्यूटिंग. देयर विल बी मैनी प्रोजेक्ट्स अवेलेबल. छोटे छोटे प्रोजेक्ट भी ढूंढो अगर बिगिनर हो, एंड यू कैन स्टार्ट मेकिंग कंट्रीब्यूटिंग. Okay. And one more thing at the end, I would like to say, open source software बड़े दिखते हैं, but तुम्हें छोटे छोटे पार्ट में शुरू करना होता है. So डरना नहीं चाहिए तुम्हें. Okay, बड़े सॉफ्टवेयर हो जाएंगे. You are just preparing for your career. Okay. So that's it.
Makes
Thanks.
sense.
Really thanks.
Thank,
Okay.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
So
you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.